Hey guys, Andy and Spoken Label back in the house. Yes, we've had a break. You won't necessarily noticed it, but we've had a break. I've not done any podcasting for 6 weeks. Yes, well-deserved break. And there's a few changes as I've come back. So because people might know they're just now wearing glasses now because my eyes have gone basically. So I've got a couple of nice pair of reading glasses. So whenever it's with podcasting now, I will be wearing reading glasses. And I've also got a nice velvet jacket as well, which I picked up the other week, which makes me look professional. So, and I have a new backdrop as well on the video side, which is my forthcoming second novel, Death. Well, I'll come on to that another day. Not about me today. And it's great, really, today, because the first one back from our break, we've got a friend with us today over in the Cholton area. And she's been with us, is it twice now, Joe, or was it once?
No, this is my second time.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, because it's technically twice. We had to go, didn't we? Where they came out absolutely horrific. So we redid it then. So yeah, we got our friend today with Joe Somerset. Now, yeah, Joe's brilliant. I've got a lot. I first met Joe through obviously our friend Steve Smythe a couple of years ago now, and Joe is a regular at SPR, of course, Cholton's one and only spoken word leading night speakeasy. So now we're here to talk to Joe about a couple of things today. But obviously, Joe, before we get going with the major part of the podcast, give us a quick refresher about who you are as a person to give people an idea of what we're looking at today.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's say I'm a writer first and foremost, although now I'm going to have a book published. I have decided I'm an author rather than a writer.
Author, yes.
Author. However, I also write poetry and other like pieces, if you like. And I've always thought I was a non-fiction author. But actually I've now produced a children's novel, so I must be a fiction writer as well. I live in Cholton, like you said. I've got 5 grown-up children and stepchildren, and I've done all sorts of jobs in my life, worked a lot in the public sector, and worked with people a lot. And I just have all this kind of stories in my psyche that are waiting to kind of come out to the general public. So I finished with paid work. I'm that age, and I have now entered the age of creativity. So which other people might call the third age, but this is what I call it. So
I agree with you.
That's me.
I agree with you completely there. So now, obviously, the book you're hinting about, and we're going to come directly out with it, since we're going to go into it now, is Mission Find Mum. Now, I will be asking you obviously later on, because last time we had you on speakeasy, spoken label. I know you were working on another book, so this book's kind of caught me out. I know you're working on a memoir, but we'll talk about obviously what comes next projects. And I get the impression that this book is sneaked up on you a little bit. So I want to learn first of all, then, where did the idea for Mission Find Mum come from?
Most of the book is set on a Hebridean island, and actually it wouldn't surprise you to know that the idea for it came from when I was on holiday on a Hebridean island, camping by the seashore with my wife, and I just had this thought: what would it be like if 2 children were on this island looking for their mum? And who knows where stories come from. That's how it started. And I went home and I wrote about, I created these characters, and I wrote about their story and how they had to make things happen for them that were going to enable them to get to that island and to find their mum was missing. Why was she missing?
I think it's a really great book, this, because you kind of sent over the preview copy to me, and it caught me out because I wasn't expecting it. That's why. But that's always good, that really. Now, obviously, we have to obviously mention that people where there is 2 children in this book, of course. We've got the 12-year-old Aisha and 8-year-old brother Isla, is shit the pronunciation in, and 8-year-old brother, is it Zach or
Lac?
Lac, I see. I want to double check that. Yeah. Now, obviously, we have to ask then, looking at on this end, as far as I was aware, I don't think you've actually done children's fiction before. So how did this compare to your other works you've done before this?
It's quite interesting because I've done partly because I did the MA at Salford University, and that was all about experimentation and innovation. So that I was still at uni then when I started the story. So I've just done such a wide variety of different genres. So really, I was exploring another genre, and having had kids and had a lot to do with kids in my life, it was kind of natural to be thinking about storytelling that appealed to children and that was from a children's point of view. Um, and I did have actually, the archetypal novel in the drawer from, 20 years ago. So there was a few scenes from that that made it into this book. So
Oh,
even though that was an
brilliant.
adult book. So
Brilliant.
yeah, so there's a kind of link there. Um, and so I thought, oh yeah, I'm just going to write this. Oh, it won't take long. Ha ha ha. So uh, I
Yeah.
I thought it would be a welcome distraction from the very serious non-fiction historical writing I was doing, and I could just write not exactly flippity gibbet sort of story, but a much more light-hearted story, not that long. It's kind of half the length of a adult novel. It did get very serious though, the children's book, and it's got some quite serious themes in it. So
Yeah, I
there
think
you
so as
go. I
well.
found myself in that state.
I think so as well with
Yeah.
the book straight away because it does have a really quite powerful story about climate activism and obviously. So what I know of you, Joe, that's something that rings quite true to your heart as well. So did you find that when this
Yeah.
book was getting going, was that the plan to put this in the book from the beginning, or did things just sneak in
Um,
unexpected?
Let me just have a think. I definitely wanted my 12-year-old to be involved in the school strikes for climate change and for Greta Thunberg to be one of her heroes. Because she came to me almost fully formed as a really gutsy, spunky sort of, feisty kind of character who still, found things tough and hard, but nevertheless, forged her own way. And then as I was developing the story, um, it was it was a bit of a brainwave really to sort of think, yeah, so maybe her parents were involved in the previous generation of climate activism. And Isla confronts her mum and goes, I'm going to go on this school strike. And her mum goes, no, you're not. And she goes, I am definitely going. And then it comes out from her mum, sort of from the side of her mouth in a way. Well, we tried all that and it didn't work. At the same time as Isla's going, well, we've got to do it because you lot have just left us in this mess, you adults. So there's immediately that conflict between the generations.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, it's
So
great. It's great. It's really, there's so much crossover in this appeal in this book. It's really, really
mm,
well done.
mm.
Because people look at the categories on it, you're covering like middle grade, adventure, nature, and secret lives straight away. And yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely, I've really, really connected with this. So, did you find then with the two main characters when you got them? But you said already about the obviously the sister coming almost fully formed. Did the
Mm.
brother come out as quickly as formed as that?
So, so with Isla, at first when I wrote her, the first draft, when I finished it, I thought she's too perfect. Nobody's that perfect. So she needs to have more struggles in life. So so then I kind of weaved in quite a kind of whole sort of bullying sort of thing, and it was linked to her hearing impairment, which is not a major thing in the book. It's just a fact, So, um, but nevertheless, she is often, because of the situation at home, she's often the carer for her little brother, and he's 8, she's 12, so. Um, but it doesn't become apparent that. So he's like a typical 8-year-old at first, but as they're on sort of thrown on their own resources, it becomes apparent that he has quite a lot of difficulty with unpredictableness and change, sort of thing. So he's got his own way of dealing with things, which I won't go into anymore, really. Or maybe, well, you could, maybe I will. But so, and Isla kind of knows him enough to accept that, and he basically goes non-verbal, and he just, that's his way of coping, and he develops a sort of his own kind of fantasy world of which he's living in whilst they are on there. It's an adventure in one sense for the reader, but for them, I think it's an ordeal, basically. So yeah. So he developed as we went along.
No, that's fair play to you, that one. So now, obviously, with the book itself, obviously, it goes from starts off in one place and finishes up completely another. Like we said already, we've obviously said where the book actually is going to end up without giving too much spoilers away. But what made you want to start the book off in Birmingham?
So I wanted to start it somewhere. Well, let's just cut to the chase. I grew up in Birmingham. It's a big city. It's so different from the Hebrides, and the first time I went to the Hebrides, I was 18, and it was amazing. It was like the contradiction was amazing. It was a complete eye opener. So I thought, well, yeah, if they're set in Birmingham, because then it's a really long journey for them to undertake. And then part of the story also is hinged. I don't sound like I'm a Brummie, but I was. But my mum was a speech teacher, so she taught me to speak properly. So, but part of the story hinges around accents. So then it was like, okay, yeah, actually that's going to really work. So I feel now as if, I don't know if this is right or not, we'll find out, that I've really written the book for city kids, and for their, to enable their imagination to discover something that's so completely different from what they know in their daily life and have discovered so far, in even via media and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with it. It's a fascinating book. It really, really is. Now, you've obviously said the book's obviously took you quite some time to get together, hasn't it? So, but did you find then the actual book changed over time? I think there's a
Yeah,
hint of it did, didn't it? So,
yeah, it did. It did. I mean, when I wrote it, it took a year to sort of write it and revise it and things. And I had some interest from agents who said, yeah, send it to us when you finished, or so. And then some critical interest from another agent who kind of sent me away and said, various things didn't, make it more exciting. Which the bit she picked on, I wasn't that clear about. I didn't really agree with her, I suppose. But so I had some interest. Um, but then when I finally sent it off to the first agent, who was great, was really welcoming, it came back rejected. And it had that archetypal soggy middle that I now know nearly every initial draft of a novel has. And I didn't know what to do about it. I just, yeah, I learned by experience, but I didn't know how to change it because I'd done my absolute best. Um, and then I discovered the small publisher Stairwell Books, who are based in York, at a publisher's fair, and read one of their books, and I thought they might really like my story. So I sent it off to them, and they replied pretty much straight away, which was lovely, saying, like the story, but you can guess what, it's just not got enough oomph and pizzazz and all that. It's not gripping enough. So go away, rewrite it, and then send it back. So So that's what I did. Oh, and they also said, so it's such a small setup. They're not editors. They're just like, take your book and they copy edit it. It's nice. They're great people. They said join a critique group and work with them, and and make your story like publishable standard. So that was actually really helpful. And they recommended joining Scooby, which is the Society of Children's Book Writers and Editors, SCBW. No, illustrators, SCBWI, illustrators. And and in Manchester, there's quite Northwest, quite an active group. So over 8 months, I joined this critique group. We met every month. I submitted stuff. Having that belief that somebody believed in the story was enough to make me sort of think, all right, I'll do it. And that's how I worked through it month by month. The group members were fantastic at really being properly critical. Do you know what I mean? Not just going, oh, that's good, and oh, I like that. It was much better than that. Like, why is, such and such doing that? And well, this whole scene is all indoors. Can't you go outdoors for a bit? Those really helpful stuff. And when I sent it back, so that was like from July to March, and then I sent it back, and the publishers then said, yeah, we'll take this book.
Right.
We had some toing and froing about certain aspects of it, and that's how it happened.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I
learned how.
actually, yeah, you do learn a lot. I know I've dealt with Rose Drew, obviously one of the people in it a lot. I
Yeah.
know Rose quite well. Not met
Mm.
or spoke to Alan that runs it, but I do know of
Mm.
him because I've had a poet on there a couple of times called Richard Harris, and Richard's one of their poets. He's on there, 2 books out with him. Richard's very, very nice gentleman. So yeah, so I know them quite well. Yeah, they're really good choice of publishers they are. So
Mm. Mm.
respect there,
Yeah.
definitely. So with that, so great stuff. So now, obviously, we need to make people aware of what you're actually going to do in relation to this. I know you've got, obviously, like you said, we told people the dates out with the 14th of September already. Now, obviously, I know you've got some interesting bits and pieces coming up. There's a campaign involved in this, haven't you? And you're hoping to get into some multiple school visits. Is that correct?
Yeah, so yes, I am. So as well as doing I've got 2 book launches in Manchester because I'm greedy. So one's linked to a Scooby workshop. That's next Saturday, and but it's open to other people as well. So that's at MMU, Manchester Metropolitan University. And then I've got one in Chorlton as part of Chorlton Book Festival. So that's like a kind of local author type thing. So I've got I'm doing a workshop so far, 2 workshops at Chorlton High School. One of the interesting things of the book is school-wise, it's aimed at age 10 plus. So the ideal reader range is year 6 primary school and year 7 high school. So it's that like crossover. So I'm doing 2 workshops, one with the high school, one with primary school readers. So and I'm like got contact with a few other schools, but I'm sort of open to school visits because I think I to do in developing the book, I did 2 school. I worked with 2 sets of year 6 children at 2 different schools. One was in Bury and the other one was in Oldham. It's just invaluable, having children kind of giving you direct feedback about things that that are involved in the book. And it's interesting because some of the themes I've asked children about, and they don't have much to say about it, but adults do. So in fact, I've just heard from my cousin yesterday, second cousin. She's 79. She said, I've just read your book, and fantastic read, couldn't put it down, it's great for all ages. So that's nice, very
Well,
nice.
that's what you want,
It's a good
really, isn't it? That's what you want, really. If you get
Yeah.
everybody in all ages picking up, that's winning. It's quote
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen. Definitely no. Good luck, mate. Definitely with that.
Yeah.
So now,
Yeah.
on top of that, obviously, looking at what other things you've got coming up at the moment, you've already talked about the book, the reading in Cheltenham comes as part of the book festival. Now, if people know you, obviously, where that's going to be held is you're running a writing workshop in this venue as well, aren't you?
Yeah,
Or a writing
yeah.
group, I should say.
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I kind of thought, I live in this area of Manchester, Chorlton, and there must be an absolute wealth of talent in our area. It's quite a big area of writing talent, and I need a writing community. So, along with, I contacted Chorlton Book Festival, which runs every September, and I said, can I run some workshops? So I ran some workshops. Um, and from that, that gave me a mailing list. So then I set up this it's a writers cafe. So it's based in a high street cafe in Chorlton called Benito Lounge every Tuesday morning. And we've got a table, which is reserved every week. And usually we overflow from that and we take over another couple of tables as well. And the cafe people are so good. They're great. We order our drinks and they just serve us. And what we do, we just write. So that isolation of writers who kind of, you're stuck in you know, in front of your computer or, on your kitchen table with your notebook or whatever. It just challenges that. But we don't actually talk to each other from 10 till 11:30. We're just, head down, like that. Some people do talk to each other, but
Yeah.
that's the idea. And then, yeah. And there's this busy cafe going on all around us. People chat, and all that sort of thing, and the coffee machines going shh and all that. But it just sort of works. So yeah, so we do that every Tuesday morning. It's been going now for nearly 2 years, and I think we had a break for Christmas week, and that was about it. It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, we've had people under us with Speakeasy. I know we've had quite a few people overflow from your local workshop into Speakeasy. So I know
Yeah,
that because we do have quite a few people come in and they're always telling me about it. It's one of
yeah,
those ones
yeah,
I've talked to Amanda about this. And if we lived near her, and if I wasn't in work now and Amanda was free,
yeah,
we'd probably be in there
yeah.
ourselves all the time. So it's brilliant. It's a great
I
idea,
think
Joe.
it's
So
just, yeah, it's a drop in, so, but we have regulars, but it's a complete sort of drop in. And, sometimes people go, oh, sorry, I'm late, but it's like, you can't be late, just come any time between 10 and 11:30. And obviously, if you come at 10 at 11:25, you won't have much time for writing, but, so yeah, it works. It really works.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's a symbiotic relationship with Speakeasy because, we publicise it there from the microphone, don't we? From the
yeah.
open mic, and then
Exactly. As
yeah,
we mention all the time, you're quite welcome there. So, and I agree. I think it runs in swings and roundabouts because people hear about Speakeasy from there, and we mention you. So, yeah, I think you do. It's you run in conjunction with people. You're supporting each other, and that's what you want, really. So,
yeah,
and
we are,
yeah, have you found then
yeah.
with it? Has it surprised you in some ways with this? Because like you never know when you set little groups up like that, what they're going to do sometimes, do you? So,
Um, has it surprised me? Has it surprised me? I think the funny thing is that we don't know each other's work. So it's all complete different genres. Um, so I think that one of the things is, I think what surprised me is it's worked and it's a success and people have just come along, week after week and stuff. And that's really nice. And it's developed more of a community than I expected that it would. Um, to the extent that this wasn't my idea, but we're now producing an anthology of our work, which is also coming out during Chorlton Book Festival because we're Chorlton writers. So shall I talk about that now? Shall I just
yes,
mention
haven't we?
it?
I think we should, shouldn't we? So, yeah, definitely it's a
Yeah.
good time. It's come natural,
So
yeah.
yeah, so it's being published as we speak. We're self-publishing it on it's a platform called feedaread.com, which is exactly for the sort of thing that we want to do. and we've got 17 writers and 1 illustrator who are producing this book. I think it's like 130 pages, and it's called The Writer's Table, because that's what the cafe call us, the Writer's Table. And at the Writer's Table, a menu of poetry, fiction, and life writing. And so we're having the launch on the 25th of September as part of Chiltern Book Festival, and it'll be the first time that we all get to read each other's writing.
Oh wow!
Because
yeah, of course.
we don't do. It's not a crit group. It's a working group. You know what I mean? So yeah. So and it's surprising. It's still a bit scary because we did have a submissions process, but we kind of expected we would accept everybody's. But we did a collaborative sort of editorial thing, so people were allocated to edit people's different sorts of work. So it was definitely a sort of developmental project, and it was still a little bit scary submitting to it, even though it's to our own thing. So, and that my pieces in it are totally different from Mission Find Mum, and they are kind of well, a poem, an essay, and another piece of life writing. So they're all connected to my other work, my non-fiction work, really. So yeah, that's called The Writer's Table. It's exciting, and we've got actually a professional graphic artist in the group who's made us a fantastic cover. So yeah, it looks good.
Brilliant. No, great stuff. Good luck with both folks on that one straight away. Now, obviously, last thing we have to check to go through, obviously, unless you've got something else you want to tell me about as well, is obviously how is things going with your memoir book at the moment as well?
Right. Yeah, I've had to really take myself in hand a few times and say, just do it, you know. So I've got a mentor. So we meet once a month for several months, and then we have a break, and then I sort of get myself together, and then we have another several months meeting. So I'm in that process, and I've got a 15 chapter outline, and I'm on chapter 13. And I've discovered it's really hard sometimes facing stuff from your life, you know. So that, you know, I've done some of that. So I think that, and it's at the moment it's just in first draft, but chapter 13 out of 15 is pretty good going. So we're at first draft stage, and I'm actually looking forward to finishing it, you know, by the end of this year. And then I am really looking forward to, unlike with the fiction where I felt rewriting was like I had no idea what to do, I'm actually really looking forward to the rewriting stage of this, because I feel that once I've got the whole thing in first draft, I can then work on each chapter and bring in stuff that's not there at the moment. And I know it's missing, but I want to just get a sense of the whole thing. So maybe, yeah, next year sometime we'll have the proper first draft completed, and I'll be able to send it to publishers.
Fingers crossed.
So,
Keep me informed, because I'd love to go in the details, chat me about that. From what you told me about that in person on quite a few occasions now. So brilliant. Now, obviously, then onto the hard sell now. Then, because obviously I do know Stairwell Books quite well. So I know they have their own shop on the website, so people will be able to get hold of this book on their shop. Am I
yeah.
right in thinking it's probably going to be in all the usual booksellers as well, probably as well, isn't it?
It's definitely available from bookshops. It's available online from Amazon, and it's, you know, the bookshop.org, which is the one that supports small bookshops, has got it as well. So it's basically discoverable. You know, Waterstones, you know, you can go in and order it. So and I'm really, I've got a lovely little network of friends from around the country who are going into their local bookshops to order it, and to raise the kind of awareness of the book. So that's my I really encourage people to go to their local bookshop, if at all possible, to order the book and obviously support their local shop.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed to you completely. So brilliant. Good luck with it, Joe. Now, say, where can people get in contact with you then if they wish to speak to you about the book? Maybe book you for a reading of some kind or a workshop.
Yeah, so the book has got its own website, which is www.missionfindmum.com, all one word. So I go on there and you can do the contact page, and also then there's clicking links to Stairwell Books and to various booksellers as well. So www.missionfindmum.com. Couldn't be easier.
Brilliant. Sounds good to me, definitely so.
Oh,
Okay.
and also on Instagram on Instagram at joe.somerset.
Perfect. Sounds good to me, Joe. Right. So, unless you've got anything else I don't know about, and I presume you haven't, so we'll take a quick break here, people, and back in 2 shakes of the dice when Joe is going to do a couple of extracts for us. Enjoyed this today, Joe. Thank you. We'll see
Thank
you
you.
all soon.